Hello, and welcome back to Urban Renewal. That's Herban Renewal. My name is Medina J. Nance. I'm your host, and as always, every week on Urban Renewal, we're into education, information, nutrition, and prevention. What we're basically missing in a lot of cases. And today's topic is natural alternatives to high blood pressure medications. That's a big one today. And if we have time, maybe we'll even go into some natural alternatives to diabetes medication and so forth. But because I see that this is a rising problem and people aren't looking at the root causes of high blood pressure, there are several things that can run your blood pressure up. One, stress can cause your blood pressure to go up. Constricted arteries, or maybe the arteries are congested arteries, can cause the blood pressure to go up. Also, water retention. The kidneys aren't functioning up to par, or the urinary system isn't functioning up to par, and that can cause stress. So we have three things we have cause high blood pressure. We have stress, clogged or constricted arteries, and water retention. You'll know water retention because the doctor will prescribe a water pill. So that kind of makes that easy to identify. But I have so many people that come in that want to get off the high blood pressure medication. And I guess because I have made it a point ever since we had Hurricane Katrina to say, utilize whatever time you have to try to work your way away from as many medications as you can. I'm not saying everybody can become medication free. There are some cases where you may need to continue taking that medication for whatever reason, but in most cases, a lot of people can get off these medications. But we've been told there's no cure for this, there's no cure for that. You have to take the medication every day for life, and we accept that. So today, particularly, I want to talk about natural alternatives to high blood pressure medication. Now, because it'll vary from person to person, I just want to give you a little basic information about it, and then we'll go on and elaborate from there. This is from a book called Prescription Alternatives. And I have a lot of people come in because they're on medication and they're leery as to whether they should take vitamins, minerals, juice, cleanse their system, or take herbs if they're on medication. And I tell them I'm familiar with herbs, so I can tell you what herbs will counteract certain medications. That is what I'll do, is tailor a program for you. But a lot of times they'll tell you to consult your physician, and the physician may not know about herbs, but it's improving and changing. A lot of doctors now have a list of herbals that will interfere with the medication. So that is good. But this says natural alternatives to high blood pressure drugs. High blood pressure is caused by arteries in distress and is one of the easiest symptoms of poor health to treat with simple natural remedies. Since medicines that lower high blood pressure do have side effects, some of them risky and unpleasant, it's important to always begin by treating high blood pressure with non-drug methods. If you're taking medicine for high blood pressure, your physician should be monitoring you regularly and should have a goal of getting you off the medication. Now, most people don't have that. They don't have a goal of getting off. So this is actually verifying for you, yes, you should have a goal of getting off. And yes, be monitored, work with your doctor if you have that kind of doctor. When you're taking drugs to lower blood pressure, it's important not to take herbs that directly lower blood pressure, because then you're having a double dose. You're taking the drug to lower the blood pressure and you're taking something else to lower the blood pressure. You have to be careful. There are certain herbs like hawthorn. You might get your herbalist book and say, oh, hawthorn is good for the heart and it also dilates the arteries. I'm going to take that. And you don't want to lower your blood pressure too much, because if your blood pressure gets too low, you can get severe headaches and a whole host of other symptoms. So it says down here, getting your doctor to monitor your blood pressure so you can make necessary reductions in medication is necessary. Since the following blood pressure lowering program works effectively to lower blood pressure, if you're also taking a hypertension drug, you will need to measure your blood pressure daily at home to be sure it doesn't drop too low. If you suddenly find you have high blood pressure, be sure to check with your doctor to rule out heavy metal poisoning, i.e. lead, mercury, aluminum, cadmium, and also you want to check for kidney disease. Now this is so important because I get tired of saying it as an herbalist. I like to see it in print. It's not new to me, but it's new to you. I would like to have more doctors come on so they can tell you, because sometimes if we hear it from an MD, it can be something you won't accept unless the MD says it. So I want to tell people that I'm not experimenting with people, but we can even say practicing, because even the doctors will tell you they're practicing. What does practice mean? They're experimenting. They will put out a drug, and it's FDA approved, but a whole lot of them have been called back. As a matter of fact, I think I might even have an article. Well, I don't have this particular article, but it was talking about Advil, ibuprofen, and Tylenol, and how in some cases some people died because they weren't taking it properly, or it was just killing people in droves. Now, I have reports where back in the day when I first started recording this, it was like 98,000 people died due to side effects of medication. Then it went on and it was 100,000. Now it's up close to 200,000 people. I want you to get a calculator. Take that 200,000, divide it by 12, so you can see how many people are dropping due to drug medications per month. Then take that monthly amount and divide it by 4 to see how many people are dying per week. Then take that amount and divide it by 7 to see how many people are dying per day. Me, I want to see how many people per hour, per minute. But the thing is, the point that I'm making is, we need medication. Medication is life-saving, but because it's being used so indiscriminately, and they're making so much money, that it's easier to throw you on a medication, say there's no cure, have you take it every day, and have all of these people dying in droves, and then add on top of that that the problem is escalating and getting worse. You think with all the money we spend, all the money that's being spent, all the drugs that are being used, you might think that that would equate to us being in better health. But here in 2008, we're in worse health than we ever have been. So we have to start putting into place some of these things to do to get off this high blood pressure medication, because this is a big one. But the blood pressure medication is going to vary. Some people, they just put them on a water pill. That's going to tell you right away. You know what you need to work on? Your urinary system. It's retaining water, and it shouldn't be retaining water, but they're going to give you a diuretic which forces your body to release so much water. And that definitely should be a temporary thing. Temporary. You should be coming off, because there's a whole slew of things I could tell you right now that you could do to help rebuild the urinary system. But I'm not going to do that, because I want to make sure that you do this reasonably, and that you do monitor your blood pressure and do kind of work with your doctor. And feel free to call me so that we can see what the source of your blood pressure is. Now, we just ruled out the water pills, the water retention with the diuretics. Next, we get to the other two: stress or dilated or clogged arteries. By dilated, I mean sometimes the arteries are constricted, I should say, and there's inflammation in there, and we have a problem with that. So that's why they put the cuff on you, because they want to see how well does your blood flow under constricted conditions.